ABC, BBD. All right, y'all, it's time to get into it. Get ready. It's time for the Sports Corner with my man, Jeff Fox. What's happening, Jeff? What's going on this morning?
Good morning, big man Kelly.
Yes, sir.
And good morning to you, the most beautiful Natasha Kent.
Good morning.
Well, here's what I have for you guys this morning. I made a vow to myself that I would pay more attention to the Miami Heat after the Super Bowl. All right.
All right. Fair enough.
Last week, leading up to the Super Bowl, I caught up with ESPN Stephen A. Smith on South Beach on the set of First Take, and we had a conversation about the Miami Heat. And I asked him, how seriously are you taking this basketball team? And without hesitation, he just went off and said, listen, I am paying serious attention to this team because the Miami Heat are one piece away. One piece away, he felt, from coming out of the Eastern Conference and making it all the way back to the NBA Finals. Now, when we lost LeBron James, we all thought it's going to take this team years to rebound from that.
You're absolutely right. I didn't expect this team to rebound so quickly, to be honest with you.
Unbelievable. And last night, the Miami Heat beat the Philadelphia 76ers, a team that was considered, more likely than the Heat themselves to get to the NBA Finals. Mm-hmm. The Sixers were among the favorites in the Eastern Conference. The Miami Heat pounded them last night, 137 to 106. The game, just basically blew them out of the stadium. And they got contributions from everybody. Jimmy Butler poured in 38 points. Goran Dragic had 24 points. Duncan Robinson, the three-point sniper, had 19 points. Bam Adebayo, the first-time All-Star, almost had a triple-double, 18 points and 11 rebounds. Derrick Jones Jr., 15 points. They get contributions from everybody. Eric Spoelstra's got to be a Coach of the Year candidate if these guys can keep it up. Now, what Stephen A. told me was these guys need one more piece. He felt like they needed a rough rider, a big dude in the middle that, that's going to mix it up with the opponents. He felt like they were, at times, can get out-rebounded and out-muscled down in the paint. And I agree with him. I think the Miami Heat are right on the verge of feeling a championship team.
Let me ask you this. Hasn't that been like one of our main problems with the Heat is finding that one big guy? I mean, we haven't had like that big guy since Shaq, believe it or not.
Yes.
And that's one of the things that I know the NBA on a whole is missing, that one big player that's almost like a linebacker.
Yeah, the game has changed. The Golden State Warriors, when they started the Splash Brothers, shooting three-pointers from all over the place, you don't see too many Patrick Ewings and Hakeem Olajuwons and David Robinson. The game has changed. The big guys now, three-point shooters. They hang out around the key, and everybody's shooting three-pointers. But the Miami need a guy like an Andre Drummond, guys who just hang around in the paint and dominate the boards because they've got shooters everywhere. And they are a serious threat in the Eastern Conference. Pat Riley is going to make some sort of deal, I think, by Thursday, which is the NBA trade deadline. Mm-hmm. It's this Thursday at 3 o'clock is the NBA trade deadline. Cutoff point is 3 o'clock. And according to several sources, the Miami Heat are looking at Drew Holiday, who's a point guard. They also want you to pay attention to Brandon Ingram, who's a former Laker, now playing for the New Orleans Pelicans, because we're hearing the Pelicans don't want to give him a max deal. I would hate to see the Miami Heat give up Bam Adebayo or Tyler Hero. But those are names that are being tossed around, just on the rumor mill. And Brandon Ingram is also an all-star player for the Pelicans. He can score in bunches. Other names mentioned for the Miami Heat are Robert Covington, Shabazz Napier, Jay Crowder, and Rajon Rondo, who they're very familiar with. So the Heat could be making a move somewhere around the trade deadline. It's very possible also, though, that they may just stand pat and ride with this team. This team has its ups and downs.
Right.
But they're an impressive 22-3 at home. When you come to Miami, chances are you will leave with an L. He played this Miami Heat team. So it'll be interesting to see what Pat Riley does around the trade deadline.
So basically, we're at least looking at a playoff team this year.
Oh, definitely. Without doubt. Without doubt, their season high 19 games over 500. This team will make the playoffs. That's no longer an issue. Mm-hmm. They're number 3 in the Eastern Conference, and they could even move as high as number 2. Nobody's catching the Milwaukee Bucks, who is number 1, and at least 5 games ahead of everybody in the NBA. But the Miami Heat are very capable of beating Milwaukee in a playoff series. Why do I say that? Because they have shooters. And when they get hot, they get hot.
Yes.
And start.
White hot.
Stephen A. said these guys shoot from the parking lot.
Let me ask you this, Jeff. So we're in the aftermath of the Super Bowl. Is there any leftover things that we missed or we haven't heard about in regards to the Super Bowl?
Well, other than the fact that the city of Miami really, really impressed the masses, and I'm also working on an article that I saw in the Miami Herald, which kind of, took issue with the fact that the NFL didn't really leave a huge contribution to the city of Miami Gardens. And
really?
Yes, Miami Gardens was, of course, the host city for the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. And from what I'm hearing, Mayor Oliver Gilbert and I think a couple of former Miami Hurricane players, what's his name? I don't remember the names. I'm still working on the article. Mm-hmm. But they basically came up with some sort of carnival with some hip-hop stars down the street from the stadium. Uh-huh. And that was something that was done basically to help. Here it is. Ted Lucas of Slip and Slide Records and former UM football stars Melvin Bratton spearheaded an effort, and the city of Miami Gardens covered some of the costs for this concert that they had. Mm-hmm. So it was a collaborative effort between the University of Miami and Slip and Slide Records and the city of Miami Gardens, just to do something to help the city generate some money. Because the Super Bowl, they basically had all of their events on Bayfront Park or the Miami Beach Convention Center.
Even down at the even down to the Seaquarium. So almost everything that took place was on the east side of town. Pretty much. I think that was something that was done purposely. Mm-hmm. They wanted to keep their people away from the city of Miami Gardens until game time. And then, Miami Gardens. Every time they come to Miami Gardens, every time they come down here, they say they go to South Beach. They go. Well, the stadium is in Miami Gardens, an African American suburb of 113,000 people. Mm-hmm. Right, and we are one of, I think, the 4th largest predominantly black city in the nation. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people felt, man, that the Super Bowl committee could have helped out a little more as far as, leaving some financial benefits for the city of Miami Gardens. This is what I'm hearing from this article. I think I agree with you. And this is giving me a different perspective. And you're right. For everything that's taken place, none of the major festivities took place in the city of Miami Gardens. Right. And so I get that. So it's like everybody else around you is making money.
Yeah.
Except for you. And you're the host city. Your city is where the stadium is. So
exactly. We've got the last time the Super Bowl was played here was 10 years ago.
Yep.
Miami Gardens has changed drastically since 10 years ago.
Oh no, listen,
there are a lot of popular restaurants.
We had Mayor Gilbert in last week, and I call it Wakanda, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Mayor Gilbert is T'Challa.
That's right. And, we've got entertainment facilities like Top Golf where they could have had events at, popular restaurants are everywhere. I agree it's not as glitzy as South Beach, but at least do something for the city of Miami Gardens, where the game is actually going to be played. It's almost as if they came into the city, performed, and they left out without really donating anything or having an impact with the city itself and its residents. And that's not right.
Well, let me tell you, I don't remember. It wasn't in Miami Gardens, but it was this. I think there was like this whole tent setup thing that they did on the west side of town. It was just off 95, and I remember passing by it. And I think this was the thing that Luke and everybody else was involved with, and they had basically set up, kind of like what they do on South Beach doing Art Basel, where down on the island where Parrot Jungle is, and they have the giant outdoor tents, and so they did this kind of for our folks. So I think maybe what we should do is the next time the Super Bowl comes to Miami, we should do our own super concert, and let's not wait for. If the Super Bowl committee gets involved, fine. If they don't, that's fine too. Because here's one of the things I realized during the Super Bowl, especially with two commercials in particular, that there's obviously a black element that they are recognizing.
Yes.
When you have
yes, thank you for saying that. Exactly.
When you have when you have Bloomberg and you have Trump's commercials catering directly at African Americans, black folks. Let me just say that because I use the word African American loosely because you can be African American does not cover all the black folks in this country because Jamaica, etc. We won't even go down that rabbit hole right now.
Right.
But when there needs to be that aspect. You know what? It's like the halftime show. Let me tell you something. I'm not downplaying the fact that Shakira and J-Lo did a great job. I don't want to downplay that. But want me to tell you something? I wanted to see you came to Miami. We still have international stars that could have been another part of that show. You know what? This is and this is still the talk of the aftermath of the halftime show. We could have seen Pitbull. We could have seen Flo Rida. We could have seen Wyclef Jean. They performed songs in the show that they collaborated with these artists.
Yeah.
So I think it was Latin overkill, is what I would say.
Right.
Definitely. Definitely. African Americans and black folk, like you said, were underrepresented in that halftime show, and it was glaring enough that everybody noticed it. And Uncle Luke came out with a statement afterwards, but he said also that he thought that maybe our blacks could afford a little harder to get in on the halftime show.
Yeah.
And then there was this controversy floating around about Jay-Z and Beyonce taking a seat during the national anthem. I mean, all this other stuff that came up, that I thought, that they're trying to get out, people are fussing about. I think they should be fussing about the fact that Miami Gardens, in my opinion, appears to be an afterthought for the NFL and the host committee that organizes these Super Bowl festivities,
Well,
and they could have done better by the city.
Well, one of the things that I noticed up until like one of the last parts, they the whole time the sportscasters made sure they said Miami Gardens, but then when they announced Kansas City as the winners, they didn't say Miami Gardens. They said Miami.
Mm.
Go back and take a listen, and you'll see. You'll see, and I heard it. I think I heard it this morning. When they announced it, they didn't say that they won in Miami Gardens. They won in Miami. And I'll be honest with you, I know Mayor Gilbert is very. Tasha, you heard me just
right. I made the mistake and called it Miami and not Miami Gardens.
And did I not prep you before he came?
He had prepped me before.
I said, listen.
Yeah.
I said, listen, when the mayor comes in, it is not Miami. It is Miami Gardens. And there is a difference. Miami Gardens is night and day from the rest of Miami. I give the mayor that. And let me say, it started with Mayor Shirley Gibson as far as Jasmine Gardens. But let me be honest with you. Mayor Gilbert took that whole city to the next level. I got to give him props. We joked about it. He kind of thumbed at me a little bit because I brought up the fact that I remember when the only thing that was out there was the Mint and the stadium. Remember that? Mm-hmm. You had the Mint Strip Club and the stadium, and that was all like desert land. Guys used to ride the motorbikes out in that area.
Right. But one thing about us Black people, like they really expect us. Like who do they want to perform? Trick and Trina. They didn't even want to listen to Trick and Trina on 99 Jam.
Well, no, but we again, they could have been. You got Wyclef, you got Flo Rida.
But
he's not from Miami.
But it wasn't. But at least it would have showed a little bit more diversity. Shakira's biggest hit is produced with Wyclef. Mm-hmm. Hips Don't Lie.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That at least would have showed some Black representation. Want me to tell you something? If Wyclef would have popped up, I would have shut up. I would be like, okay.
Yeah,
and,
you're right.
And
just
I don't
that
mean
alone.
I don't mean it just from a Black perspective. I mean it from a diversification perspective. That whole show says I'm Hispanic, and that's all that matters.
Right.
That's what. And don't get me wrong. I think we all should be. First thing, this whole Super Bowl was leaps and bounds for women. You had the first female coach. Because what is it? The defensive coordinator, I think it was, for one of the teams. So we had the first female coach. We've got a female owner of one of the teams. We had a female a halftime show. I don't want to downplay the fact that the female aspect was well represented, and it's been a long time coming. But that also does not mean I should have to put my ethnicity to the back burner. And Miami is not just let me just say this. Some people might get mad at me, but you know what? Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Miami is not northern Cuba, although it's treated like that.
Right. And Twyla Cox says, Wyclef could have been good. She would have liked it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Why just have Wyclef, like I said, Wyclef, Flo Rida, Pitbull, Khaled, somebody.
Right.
Yeah. We needed more of that.
I'm just a dumb DJ. What do I do?
Right.
All right, Jeff. Listen, hey, man, we will talk to you tomorrow.
Same bad time, same bad channel.
That's right. Mature Life Radio, home of R&B and throwbacks, Big Man Kelly Morning Show. Jeff Fox with Sports Corner. We'll see you tomorrow at 8:30, Jeff. So I'll tell you what I'm getting ready to do. You guys, this is what you need to do. You need to download the Mature Life Radio app if you have not done so, because this is what I'm about to do. I'm about to go into the mix. All right. I'm about to go into the mix right here on the Big Man Kelly Morning Show. So if you guys want to hear this mix, guess what? You guys that are watching us on Facebook Live, you can't hear it unless you download the Mature Life Radio app, right? Lil Kirk Franklin Stomp.